Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ESL Mobile Open. I'm your host, Paul and Verum Toddkill, back for our recap of week number 3. Oh, we're off to such a great start. Glitter Explosion, get in here. Save me from myself as we start things off so very strong. Look, if I can't talk, at least the players can play. We can guarantee that at the very least.
At the bare minimum, you know, and it's just the beginning of the show. We're going to get into the swing of things, and then once we do, it's going to be smooth sailing from there.
I believe it 100%. If you're just joining us, welcome to the ESL Mobile Open, an amazing competition for you to get involved in the world of mobile esports. Open to everyone here in North America and around the world. Fantastic program to test your skills against other aspiring competitive players, and hey, maybe even win some prize money in the mix. There's a lot happening this year. There's a lot going on with our program. So this video that breaks it all down. Let's take a look. Welcome to ESL Mobile, the home of mobile esports. ESL Mobile is a global program designed to give you an opportunity to compete in your favorite mobile games, featuring multiple game titles, taking place in 3 regions and offering 2 levels of competition. There's something here for everyone. ESL Mobile Open is the gateway to competitive play. Free to join and open to any resident of our supported regions. This is the best way for you to enjoy the thrill of victory and take your shot at winning cash prizes. Each season of Mobile Open will consist of 2 ladders, and the top competitors from each will qualify for the Mobile Open play-ins. ESL Mobile Challenge is your path to glory. If you are a top competitor in the Mobile Open play-ins, you will earn a spot in the Mobile Challenge season. The top team from each ladder will skip the play-ins and qualify directly for the Mobile Challenge season. This is where you'll have the chance to compete against the best players in your region. At the end of each season, top Mobile Challenge players will compete in the Mobile Challenge Finals to determine a winner and be crowned their region's champion. ESL Mobile is for everyone. This is your opportunity to join a diverse and growing community of players across the world and see just how far you can go.
All right. Now that you guys know exactly how this all works, let's talk to you a little bit about what this show is. This is our weekly recap show of everything that went down the week prior in our Mobile Open. And we always have, we're going to have some highlights for you guys. We have some amazing content pieces from creators within each community. And as always, shakeups on every single ladder for every single game. Because once again in Verum, the players, the teams, they do not disappoint.
Look, you can be one of the best teams in the entire region, but no one, I repeat, no one can be that consistent because there are just too many good squads all going toe-to-toe. As we start things off with Brawl Stars, you'll see exactly what I mean. Our top 16 is jam-packed with some of the best teams in North America, including, if you look on this first page, quite a few who competed in our ESL Mobile Challenge last season. O.O, though, has continued to step up. They played under the Coordinated Thugs moniker during the challenge, but the back is O.O, up there above Tribe Gaming, who many consider to be one of those best teams in all of NA.
Yeah, and then followed closely behind them is Watermelon, and they were one of the newer teams that we were keeping our eyes on so far. They were in second place last week. They did drop down just by a tiny margin there to Tribe Gaming, but still doing very well for themselves. Then moving down the list, obviously the likes of Stamina Esports, Aqua, Tequila still in our top 8 here. And then moving on down, you see Miners and Gaunt rounding out our top 8. But what I love to see is how close a lot of these scores are. These teams are really battling it out back and forth. I mean, Brawl Stars has probably been one of our most action-packed games so far.
I mean, the game itself is action-packed, so I'm not surprised there at all. And even just looking, the top 16 to the top 8 is like less than 100 points, I think. That is absolutely wild. 72, 73, 73, 75. Like, just from Goopsters down to Evil Space, what one game difference, how close these teams all are. Dark Roots, Vatra Gaming up there at the top. Any one of these teams could justifiably make it into that top 8. And of course, that's what they're all aiming for, making it to the play-ins so they can hopefully get a spot in the ESL Mobile Challenge, our fall season here in 2021. As we take a look back at some of the action this past week, amazing plays to start things off. Zara getting the best of that. And Stamina Esports looking to be in a fantastic position here. Lots of Siege gameplay today, but I have no issues with that whatsoever. We saw this map quite a bit, and the players, Glitter, they are showing absolute mastery of it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw there at one point, Stamina was in lead 100% to 25%. Okay, this was an incredibly strong storm. We're going to see here that Bakur does try to make a little bit of a push back. They're trying to do their best with the comeback, but there's not enough time on the clock, and they just cannot do enough damage. Stamina is going to take this one home. And now this is important because we'd actually talked about them a lot last week, Paul, because of being able to get Zara back on their crew. They've been doing very well for themselves.
I mean, this is the team that, you know, we talked about the monthly cups and all that kind of stuff and other competitions. Everyone's like, well, this is Stamina. They're so good. Well, this is the version that we're starting to see now, and they're looking incredible. But also, Evil Space, Gallon Esports, these are two squads who, you know, somewhat familiar with here, but they're showing up in a big way. Evil Space looking to put the work in there, but nice little hold from Gallon Esports. This is their opportunity to try and make a comeback of their own. We're seeing Gallon Esports looking to actually pull out a big win here off the back of this next push. They're down now, but able to turn it around, able to get the lead in terms of the bolt, summon that big old bot, and Glitter, it does a ton of work.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy for me. You guys will notice there's only 10 seconds left on the clock, and this push is insane. Look how much damage comes out in essentially a matter of 5 seconds. Also netting Gallant Esports the win. So like you were saying, incredible defense to be able to put themselves in the position to even make that push for that much damage.
Huge. Knowing exactly when to play for that win condition, getting a little bit far behind, but knowing that they're building up that bolt advantage to be able to push back. This mid control is what both of these teams are vying for here. Tribe, Aqua, Barley Ult comes through, forcing back. The position goes in. But it's still a really close game here. It all comes down to this next siege bot, and that's what Aqua is going to look to get right here. Level 15. They're going to mount a push with it, and I think Tribe's Ike is not long for this world, Glitter.
To say the least. Okay, we were talking about how impressive the amount of damage that came out of Gallant in a short amount of time was. Well, watch what happens here for... seriously, it was 89-0 in 5 seconds on Aqua. Are you okay?
They're more than okay, Glitter. They took the win in that series as well. So not only did they win that map, they took the whole set over Tribe Gaming and were able to take them down. Something that they really couldn't do during the Mobile Challenge season, which is really great to see. The competition is continuing to heat up, which means we needed a little bit of help here. Ash is standing by to help break down some of these plays from last week. Let's take a look.
What's up, guys? I'm Ash, and welcome back to another week of the ESL Mobile Open, week number 3, where we're going to be covering the top teams in North America. We're going to be covering the top 5 plays this week, starting right now. At number 5, we have Cool2 BGG versus Aqua. We're going to start off with an excellent pull by Angel Yu to take out Min Wung and his Jin right there. This is going to give them a 3v2. Unfortunately, they're still behind. Aqua is still leading by about 8%. Mitsua using that super to get Real Canadian and then keeping Solar low. Angel Yu is going to finish him off with his Jin. Just barely got him right there. And then Togi at the bottom left doing a great job with his Leon. So now Cool2 in control of both zones are going to rush in to the top right zone and clutch this win 100% to 93. A very close game and a great comeback. At number 4, we have Trenches versus Stamina. Look at Cat sneaking in from the right with his buzz. Gonna triple stun everyone on Stamina's team. And that's gonna give his team at Trenches enough time to get some percentage points from the middle zone, giving them the lead just for the moment here. But watch out, Bobby's got his pull with his Gene. He's gonna go for it, get Shine, and gonna give his team a 3v2. But then Cat comes in again with his buzz, takes out Czar, gets his super back. And this is going to be a super close game as he goes in with another stun. Double kill. Goes after Czar again. Oh my goodness. Just showing how powerful this new brawler is. Wow. At number 3, we have a powerful matchup between Tribe Gaming and Stamina. Zulon's going to take out Bobby right there, and then he's going to be able to secure 8 gems in the bag. Stamina does not have a single gem. Tyron doing a great job keeping Czar back. Zulon's going to grab his 9th gem, but look, Czar's got his super. He's going to pop his bouncy castle gadget to take out Zulon with his super, and also take out Tyron. A double kill by Czar. He's going to grab all the gems and then the bouncy castle again to heal back to pretty much full health. He's going to be able to steal the win right there with his Rico. Just insane. Goes to show just how powerful this new gadget can be with Rico. At number 2, we have Dark Roots versus Kings Esports. Now, look at Dark Roots in the lead by 8%. Moby's going to get the kill on Panda. And at the bottom left, Zekrom and Elite doing a great job taking out Seabass right there. But then Moby on the right takes out Panda as Panda respawns back. Moby getting another kill and then staying alive, trying to get control over that bottom left zone against Zekrom. He's gonna get double teamed against Panda, dodging like crazy, backs up for a bit, and at the top right again, Artie and Seabass doing a great job taking out Elite, and then Moby takes out Zekrom and also takes out Panda. Took out 2 brawlers just on his own, and this possibly might give his team enough time to make a comeback. He's low right now. He's trying to dodge again against Zekrom. Takes Zekrom out again. And this gives 5 seconds. Enough time for his teammates to rush into the zone and win it by just 2 percentage points. That was ridiculous. And now for our number 1 top play of the week, we have Dark Roots versus Gallant Esports. Dark Roots are just destroying them right now, dominating 72% to 22%. Oh man, Gallant Esports is in trouble right now, but they do have a push coming in here, and there's less than 30 seconds left on the clock. Panda and Frixie exchanging kills. Bet to Cheese doing a good job getting some additional damage. Steven's gonna win that left lane matchup with his Rico, running around with the Robo Retreat star power and just dealing additional damage with his Rico. That Robo Retreat star power is just so good, running around, dodging everything, just 100 bullets right there. There's only 3 seconds left. Are they gonna be able to get enough damage? Just enough, barely enough with Bet to Cheese and Steven. 20% to 22%. A 2% differential to winning. Just insane. Well, that's going to cover it for this week. Those are some really intense plays. Definitely made it hard for me to rank them all. Let me know which play was your favorite. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Tune in until next week. Now let's head back to the desk.
I mean, we talked about how Brawl Stars has been one of our craziest games, but that number 1 play there, Dark Roots was up 72 to 22, and Gallant Esports, that comeback to win only by 2% there at the end. I mean, they don't call them gallant for no reason.
Seriously, they put up a heroic performance there at the end, barely able to eke out the victory. And there's a lot of these kind of plays here in the Mobile Open. So if you want to get involved in it, you should absolutely do so, whether it be over on social media or competing as a player yourself. Hit !social in the chat. You can find links to all the social media there that you'd be following along at home. Lots of cool clips, highlights, all that good stuff. We have a lot of amazing action going on. And of course, the next ladder is starting up very soon. So if you want to get involved with that, if you say, hey, I can get a team together for any of our titles here for the ESL Mobile Open, I highly recommend you go check that out. We're gonna head to a short break. When we come back, our other ESL Mobile Challenge title, it's Clash of Clans, coming up next.
I go ready for it. I go ready for it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. I'm Glitter Explosion.
And I'm in Vero.
And we just wrapped up all of our Brawl Stars action. It's time to jump into Clash of Clans. And this is yet another important game for us to talk about, Inviron, because you had mentioned the play-ins for Brawl Stars. Well, Clash of Clans is coming up too.
Oh, yes, indeed. $18,000 for that first place prize if you are able to be our ESL Mobile Challenge champions. Lots of money, lots of prestige on the line, but you gotta get there first. That's what all these teams are vying for right now. Golden X, a family, a household name. Not only a clan family, but a household name when it comes to Clash of Clans, up there in the #1 spot. The A team continuing to deliver SSG Volume 0 here as well. No real surprise, as well as Train Station Gaming down there on this front page. A lot of absolute heavy hitters. Mad Ram in there as well. Omnipotence. I mean, this is, again, very much like Brawl Stars Glitter, a great mix of teams that made it to our first ESL Mobile Challenge and up-and-coming squads.
Yeah, which is what we love to see here at the ESL Mobile Open. Checking out our second page here, you can see Hydrogen Shaming just barely missing out on that top 8 position there in 9th. And then moving down the list, just more names that we recognize. I mean, you see Coastal Clash, Happy Endings, Hydrogen FC, One Hive. It's actually crazy how much back and forth competition we have seen for clans this season, and it's making everything so interesting.
Yeah, and I think as we take a look at some of the highlights here, again, it comes back to where the meta is right now, where players are expected to, if you're not 3-starring, you got to be in the 90% here. Any small error will be punished. And you can see here, Agent 33, classic, starting off with a Warden walk there, coming in with the rest of this attack. I mean, again, one troop out of line and things just go horribly wrong. But I love the fact that we're starting to see some variation with these, bringing in the P.E.K.K.A. Smash. The log launcher is there as well off the back of this Queen charge. You know, players are still finding ways to adapt, and we haven't seen a lot of ground-based attacks in the last little while. So it is really cool to see Space Station Gaming bringing it out here and actually able to pull off the triple, as SSG was actually able to take the win in this war up against Space Station Gaming, you know, or up against Train Station, I should say, some sort of inter-clan rivalry, because of course Train Station is the team that ended up winning our first ESL Mobile Challenge season over SSG, which was a lot of fun. I don't want to say necessarily drama there, but certainly exciting, Glitter.
Oh, 100%. And that was this is actually a huge week for SSG as well, because while they had a very solid week that now put them in 3rd place, last week they were actually in 7th. So they've made a huge rise or climb up that ladder for themselves, and that's giving them a really solid position overall going into our plans. Now we're checking in here with Golden X versus Volume 0, and this is another matchup that's actually super interesting, because just based off of their placement alone, this is essentially a complete flip of what we saw last week. Volume 0 was actually our first team on our leaderboard, and Golden X was in 5th. Well, now Golden X is in 1st and Volume 0 is in 4th. So this is what we're talking about when we're saying these leaderboards all over the place. These teams are fighting it out. They're battling out tooth and nail to make sure they're at least in that top 8 position, knowing how much is on the line coming up here in the next few days.
On any given day, any one of these top teams can beat the other. And that's what makes this gameplay so compelling. Who's going to show up? Who's going to be the one to make the mistake? Who's going to be the one to get the final last second 3-star to secure their team the win in the war? I mean, it's crazy exciting with this attacker-sided meta, all these different strategies. I mean, we're seeing here Dragons once again coming back in. Dragon Riders were such a boon to players, you know, attacking in this meta right now. And again, got to give props. Fresh Air coming out, putting in a pretty crazy performance here at the very end. With 1 second left on the clock, boom, gets it done. Beautiful play here from them, the Royals. We saw them down there at 15th place. So really compelling gameplay across the board here. Every single one of these teams is showing, because they know what's on the line. They know a spot in the Mobile Challenge is what is at stake here, which means that every single one of these matches matters. And speaking of matches, Eric's got a few, at least attacks to break down here this week and see what our players are up to. Let's take a look.
Hey, thanks guys. We got some awesome strategies that we saw this week here, and bats are coming back. And not just with the Hydra, we're seeing them in ground attacks in very, very interesting compositions. Even some new ones we've never seen before. So let's go check it out. So I wanted to highlight this attack first. This is from Ghost of Volume 0, coming in with 16 sneaky goblins, 5 dragon riders, a kill squad with ice golems and a log launcher, and then bat spells, 6 bat spells. This is like a multi-phase attack to the extreme. He starts in with a couple sneaky goblins and he sends them into just wall break into the town hall compartment, go in and clear all the collectors, clear all the traps, clear everything, including that town hall. But it needs a little extra help to take the town hall, so he drops in invisibility, make those sneaky goblins invisible on their way in, and then invisible upon arrival to snipe that town hall off and pull the CC. They also caught the tornado trap. What I loved about this attack, though, is it wasn't just a one-trick pony. Ghost has been using this all week long, and he's been just leveling bases with it. I saw so many times that he used this strategy, and we had to break out the one here that he did against Space Station Gaming. So currently, Space Station is rank number 3, and Volume 0 is rank number 4. So to see these two teams going head-to-head here and then breaking out crazy, interesting strategies like this was awesome. He also put in the Warden with the heroes, with the Royal Champion, the Warden, the King, and the Queen, all working together there with that log launcher to punch into the middle of the base and just cut this base in half. As soon as he has the base like cut in half, he's just kind of slowly reaching around here, picking off any splash damages that he can get, and then getting ready for his bats to start in. So he starts in like one Dragon Rider over on the right side, the Royal Champion going in at the bottom to go get that scatter shot, the heroes punching all the way to the core of the base there with the help of some ice golems to go in there and take out the scatter shot in the middle of the base, holding on to one scatter shot as well. The Dragon Riders going into the multi-inferno over on the left side of the base, ice golems up on the top side, and then the bats go into the Eagle Artillery, take it down, and then start to work their way through the wizard towers and across the base. There's so many different moving parts to this attack. It's a lot of fun here. I love a very complex attack like this, and it definitely piques my interest here. So look at this. The bats end up surviving all the way to the end. The Dragon Riders go to the end. The Queen goes to the end. The Warden goes to the end. Tons of cleanup all around the base using all kinds of minions and wizards and whatever. I guess there's a couple party wizards in the mix there, which is awesome. 9th anniversary Clash of Clans, you know. All right, Ghost leveling this base here with this crazy new strategy. I don't even know what to call it yet. Honestly, I don't know what to call it. But we have another attack where another player used bats, and we need to check that out next. So here's the other one. This one using bats with a P.E.K.K.A. Smash. He has a blimp selected, so we can use that to go snipe off the town hall. He starts it off with a Warden Walk here, this one bringing in the healers, and this is a little bit more traditional, I would say, although we do see a lot of bats used with a Hydra attack. That seems to be one of the most common ways to use bats, but I like when people get a little bit more interesting with their strategies here and break out something a little bit out of the ordinary and also a bit familiar here. So we got 3 P.E.K.K.A.s, we got the Ice Golems and Golems, we got the Super Wizards, little wall break action to get into the base here, a Warden Walk to start it off, and then we collapse in at 2 different spots. So the King goes into the Eagle Artillery, the P.E.K.K.A.s collapse with the Super Wizards into this scatter shot here, and he wants to side swipe the Town Hall. Now, normally when we do a P.E.K.K.A. Smash, we'd have a second jump spell to send us into the other half of the base, but rather than doing that, he just brings in a whole bunch of bat spells and freezes to go sweep the other half of the base. And you see a lot of multi-infernos and wizard towers and all kinds of stuff over there, so you gotta be really, really careful. But he sends in the blimp, protected by the ward ability, to go and snipe that town hall off. He has the enemy Queen engaged there by the town hall, and he can reach her over the wall, but he leaves up that inferno there, and he kind of has to walk right past it and continue on to the right side of the base. But it looks like the Queen ended up breaking the wall and goes in there and deals with it. I think he was trying to avoid it, actually, and send everything off to the right to the jump spell. So as soon as they start to get over there, then he starts to send in the bats from the right side. The Royal Champion joins in to join with the bats, which is always a little bit scary there, because if you have the Royal Champion pull a tornado trap there, sometimes the bats can get trapped in it, and that can cause a little bit of a problem. But he delays that last freeze there because he had the Ice Golem circling around the wall there to get the Wizard Tower and might have lost the targeting for a second, and he took the risk, and he didn't freeze up the Inferno, but very similar. We go in, we have a kill squad or in the other attack's case, 3 kill squads, basically. And we go in there, deal with all the splash damage around the base, and then we sweep the backside with bats, and we protect them with freezes all the way through. This is a lot of fun, guys. I love to see these bat strategies. I love to see a base completely picked apart all the way down to every single individual defense and deal with all that splash and take them down. I'm loving that we're seeing so many brand new, unique strategies come to life here in the ESL Mobile Open, and this is just getting warmed up here. It's only week 3, and we still have a lot of season left, so I'm excited for what the future will hold for us, but I'm sending it back to you, Glare and Verum. We'll see you later.
Another week in Clash of Clans means yet another week where we get to see innovative and unique strategies. I mean, Verum, Eric literally didn't even know what to call the first one, which I don't think has ever happened before.
I mean, these are the players who are trend-setting. These are the players who are coming up with the new attacks that are defining the direction that the meta goes in. I mean, even over the last couple months, we had multiple new attacks come out over the course of the challenge season, and it's these top players, which means that you need to be watching, you need to be tuning into the kind of content that Eric is putting out, or other creators as well. If you're at home watching this thinking, I want to stay up to date, what exactly I need to be doing to get those wins in my games. But of course, the day isn't done yet. Sometimes going fast is important, like in Clash of Clans. Also in Asphalt 9 Legends, which is our next game coming up next. Of course, if you want to get involved in all this, exclamation point, sign up. There it is. Literally waiting for it. That was top tier right there. We have some very fast races coming up, Glitter, if I do say so myself.
Mm-hmm. We do. We'll see.
We do indeed. Yes. We'll be back in just a few. And then Asphalt. Let's go.
Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. I'm Glitter Explosion.
And I'm Verum.
And we are about to get into all of our Asphalt 9 action. But before we do, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about any key. Now, we mention it all the time. We're specifically talking about that good luck Have Fun pledge, aka the GLHF pledge. If you're looking to learn more, you can head on over to anykey.org to check out all of that information. But it's essentially, it's a cause promoting diversity and inclusion in gaming and esports. And by signing that pledge, you are essentially saying that you are going to be willing to make a difference, be a more positive and inclusive influence in your own gaming space. And it's really a wonderful cause. If you don't believe me, though, we have a video with some amazing content creators that maybe they could convince you to fill out that pledge. So let's take a look.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix. I think it's important for these initiatives to happen. Empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
I mean, look, if you don't listen to us, go listen to Smix. Listen to Nothing. All right. Yeah. Right. They know what they're talking about. No, it's seriously, it's a really great cause. Over 1 million people have already taken the pledge. I've taken the pledge. Glitter's taken the pledge. See me typing in Twitch chat. You see, got that exclusive badge over there on Twitch. So I definitely recommend you go check that out. Just like we're about to check out some amazing races here for Asphalt 9 Legends. We take a look at our leaderboards, starting things off with, is it iOS? Is it Android? Oh, which will it be? iOS. Let's go, Glitter.
Okay. Now, there are some names on here that I love the fact that we recognize. First of all, Yogg Saron back up on our leaderboards for iOS. Yeah. The J, somebody we've talked about week after week in first place. No longer in first place, though, because we have sunny weather just barely ousting both Yogg and the J. Look at how close some of these times are here in Viram.
I mean, it is fractions of a second, and this is actually the closest top 8 we've seen yet. Only about 1 total second separating first and 8 here on iOS. Absolute insanity. Players are getting closer and closer and closer every week. We can see that trend continues as we take a look over on Android as well. Sunny weather up there at the top. Can we take a look at their race later on? Diesel Dragon making a return up there at the top. One of my favorite names. It's just, I get a visual. Diesel Dragon, American Muscle. I don't know. And I like that the TM is in there as well. RPM, of course, Proud Papa, Louis 6, a lot of veterans here in the ESL Mobile Open program. And another member, this time Joker of A9UF joining us here.
Yeah, I mean, impressive races all around as we take a look at some of the highlights from this past week. I think one of my favorite things about these highlights as we go through them here in Viram is the fact that we talked about this last week, and it was specifically when we were watching the J, right? We felt like his runs were just really chaotic. And honestly, after watching some of these races, I feel like Yogg Saron is on the exact same level.
I mean, these players, and you're going to see it in these few races, they push their cars to the extreme. Side note, how sick is this skin? Okay, yes, amazing. Here, coming in with the Bugatti Chiron. Chiro. The pronunciation every single time. Better. We talked about this in the rehearsal. But no, watch this as he goes off the... Okay! That was definitely what he meant to do. Hashtag, I don't think that's what he meant to do. But I have never seen a car do that in 2.5 years of casting this game. I have never seen someone get that close to wrecking and still be able to pull off a top tier time.
Honestly, until you saw RPM Proud Papa, right? Because
yes.
Yet another insane run coming out on the Android side of things as well. Now, we had mentioned that, you know, Yogg Saron felt a little chaotic in his run. Well, Proud Papa was not to be outdone because there are some crazy, crazy moments in this run as well. And one of the biggest things that we're actually going to see here coming up in a moment is that when we get to the part where we start running into those trains on the train tracks, there's a slight route difference and we don't see that often. And this is the part that I'm talking about here. He actually decides to stick to the outside, which is not what we saw Yogg Saron do.
No, and as we're going to see, Firm's going to break down some of these races. Otherwise, and almost right there as well, almost wrecking into the wall. Proud Papa, it is uncommon at this high level of play. Most of them have the routing on these tracks down pretty much. identical. It's just the small little nuance, when they use boost, when to use perfect nitro, when to shockwave, how many, how high or low they're getting off of jumps. That's often where the nuance comes in to shave off these hundreds of seconds. But to do a completely different route choice there, it'd be really interesting to see some of these top players compare notes and see which exactly is the fastest at the end of the day, because these two were certainly up there in terms of these top times. But the very top races, well, we got to save those ones for Ferrum, who's got a video to break down these top races. Let's take a look.
Thanks so much, Paul and Glitter. My name is Ferrum, and I will be your co-host in the Asphalt 9 finals for the ESL Mobile Open Fall 2021 season. Today, I'm going to be giving you a recap of the third week of qualifiers, showing you the runs from the winners of both iOS and Android, and then comparing and contrasting the two. Be on the lookout for a fourth weekly recap ahead of the finals, which will be held on September 12th and co-hosted by me and Ferrum and perhaps another special guest. So be sure to stay tuned, and without further ado, let us get into this week's Android winner, Diesel Dragon, who is returning from a previous week. In this third qualifier, players used the Bugatti Chiron on Downtown Rise, a variant of San Francisco. The usual strategy at the beginning of this track is to drift back and forth at the very beginning. This is known as wiggle drifting, to save up enough nitro to be able to shockwave up both of those ramps, gaining a good amount of speed, but being careful to go fairly low on the second ramp so as not to hit the wall when going around the next corner. Diesel Dragon drifts, then shockwaves up that ramp as well, and then again drifts around the next corner and shockwaves out of it. This is essentially what you have to do on this track in high-speed cars like the Chiron. Drift around all the turns, then shockwave out of them, and go up any ramp you see, to put it very basically. Diesel Dragon is careful not to hit any of the trains, and then shockwaves across these rough sections to get up to a high top speed before the next ramp. At this point in the track, the goal is to maintain as much momentum and speed as possible throughout all of these ramps across the water, and Diesel Dragon does it very well and crosses the finish line with a real time of 57.593. Now let's take a look at the run of the winner of the qualifier on iOS, whose Chinese name roughly translates to Sunny Day, so that is how I will be referring to him throughout this video. We can see that he has a very similar start on the track as Diesel Dragon did, saving up for shockwave to go both of these ramps, and goes even lower on the second one to give himself even more time to correct himself before these next couple of turns. We see a slightly different strategy being used here, as he does a 360 and then does not save up for a shockwave, but instead just double nitros straight off the jump. Sunny Days gets extremely close to the wall before shockwaving over this rough patch, with this section looking fairly similar to Diesel Dragon's. But here is where he deviates a little bit from the previous racer. He shockwaves around that turn, but then just goes straight into perfect nitro, unlike Diesel Dragon, who shockwaved over that second part of rough terrain as well. And now again, it's all about the momentum. You just want to keep as much airspeed as possible throughout this section, shockwaving and using the break nitro trick, and Sunny Days crosses the finish line with a final time of 57.295. Now that we've seen both runs individually, as always, I want to compare them side by side slowed down so that we can find any minute differences that might have contributed to the slight difference in time at the end. Like for example, Sunny Day hit that parked traffic car over to the left, which gave him a little bit more nitro, but it also slowed him down slightly. Now those actually canceled each other out, meaning that the two cars are practically neck and neck heading into the uphill section. They take the first ramp almost identically, but as I mentioned previously, Sunny Day goes lower on the second ramp. You can see very clearly here that this gives him more time to maneuver himself around the ground to be at the perfect spot to come out of the turn. Now, one big question I had when looking at these races was, does Sunny Day's 360 here actually make much of a difference? I do not really think so. It might have gained him a frame or so, but he lost some speed when he did the 360 and then gained some when drifting afterwards compared to Diesel Dragon. So again, they practically cancel each other out. However, Sunny Day at this point has managed to pull ever so slightly ahead. He also has a tighter turn here, and then after a shockwave, he actually gets up to a higher speed before the next ramp. This looks like it is shaping up to be another race where nothing really big was different between the ways that the two players raced, but there are just little things that they did do slightly differently that make up frames here and there, and that is why Sunny Day continues to inch further and further ahead of Diesel Dragon. Also, Sunny Day's speed is higher over these train tracks as he decides to stay in Perfect Nitro instead of Shockwaving, and although Diesel Dragon's Shockwave does allow him to come out of the turn with slightly higher speed, it doesn't really make up for the amount of time that Sunny Day gained when he was using Nitro and Diesel Dragon wasn't. The biggest difference between the two racers that I've seen is that Diesel Dragon seems to like Shockwaves a lot more, whereas Sunny Day is content staying in Perfect Nitro a lot of the time. And after very similar sections on the pier, they both crossed the finish line with Sunny Day just slightly ahead of Diesel Dragon. Again, there is a slight discrepancy in the replay timer, but Sunny Day beat Diesel Dragon by approximately 0.3 of a second. So this wraps up our recap for the Week 3 qualifier. Stay tuned next week for a recap of the 4th and final qualifier before we head into the finals on September 12th. As competition continues to heat up more and more, I cannot wait to see what these players come up with next. That's just about all for me this week. Now back to Paul and Glitter.
That might be one of the closest side-by-side runs that we have ever watched. I mean, you and I were even discussing it while we were watching that piece. It was so hard to tell just how far off they were without having the timers literally right next to each other, because those runs, like, Farron was saying a couple different times, they did small, tiny differences here and there, but they ended up canceling out almost every single time.
It's just really cool. It's this ebb and flow, this trade-off. It's like, yeah, they get a little bit, more speed here, but then they don't have the Nitro, and then the player who has the Nitro speeds ahead a little bit further in. It's like, if only you could do it all. If only you could do it all. It's those trade-offs, though, that really make this game so exciting to watch, and I cannot wait to see how our 4th and final week continues to go. But we're not done yet here today. Still have 2 more fantastic games in store for all of you, which means Clash Royale is up next. Before we do, though, of course, I need to remind you all, right down below, !social. If you're not following us over on social media, be sure to go do that. Stay up to date with everything that we're doing here for ESL Mobile. With that being said, we're going to head to a short break. When we come back, it's all about Clash Royale.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. I'm Glitter Explosion.
And I'm Invero.
And we've had some amazing highlights and content pieces so far. And now it is time to dive into Clash Royale, a game where last week we had some crazy shakeups on our leaderboard. So I'm excited to see what happened this week.
I mean, look, last week, a ton of new names joined the program, threw their hat in the ring. That $1,000 first place prize was calling out to some people, I have to say. And Azil was certainly one of them. And as we're going to see in some of the highlights, put up some stellar performances, definitely deserving that first place spot. Over 100 points separating them from San Francisco. But we're seeing a lot of names that we also recognize. Zod, Smurfblade, Ray and Ruby, Puddin is back once again. This is such a fantastic mix of old and new names, Glitter, here. You love to see it.
Absolutely. I mean, those are obviously all names that we recognize from previous seasons. As we see the second half of our leaderboard here, we're going to see even more new names and ones that we've been talking about. Alex. Spicy Nachos. I mean, Alex was literally at the top of our leaderboards, and now in 9th place after a lot of those OGs came in and kind of made a statement there in our 3rd week. That's insane.
I mean, it just goes to show the depth of the competition here. A player who is looking really darn solid week 1, you know, not necessarily able to keep up that momentum as new players were coming in. And there are a lot of different decks, a lot of different strategies that we see these players bringing out. Maybe, you know, one of his go-to comfort picks just wasn't quite feeling as good into some of the matchups that he was going into, as we can see Francisco and Smurfblade going toe-to-toe this time. Francisco, of course, our 2nd place player, looking incredibly solid. That Lava Hound, such a fantastic tool from which to mount that push behind. I mean, RC coming in, or Royal John, I should say, coming in. And yeah, really good stable for a lot of players in this deck, but just not able to make anything happen there. Smurfblade calling the well played and definitely earned that win there was Francisco. Looking incredibly solid here. But this is where we get to see more of this particular matchup as well, which you love to see. Mortar coming in as well. Mortar's one of these cards that we're continuing to see more of in the quick, good game coming in there from Francisco as well, knowing exactly, Glitter, when that game is about to end.
I mean, if you know what's going to happen, you might as well toss it out there. But what I love about this is the fact that Francisco's literally in 2nd place. And now we're obviously going to be watching a match here with Hazeal and Puddin. But Smurfblade, a name that we've talked about a lot, as is Hazeal and Puddin. These are all people that we're watching every single week, just kind of leaving it all on the floor and holding on to 1st and 2nd place respectively here for Hazeal and Francisco. So this is a tough ladder, and it's impressive that they're not only doing well in their own matchups, but when we take into consideration the fact that they're now also going up against some of our most recognizable players.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Hazeal playing a couple of different decks here as well, which I also think is interesting. We saw a fantastic play. Was able to get the early King Tower activation in the last game. Great counter to the Graveyard coming in, and this time around, just able to mount such a massively formidable push, able to deny the Goblin Drill, has that Dark Prince to deal with it, and look at the push that they're able to mount behind this. Not a whole lot you can do. The Miner comes in for good measure, and just like that, Hazeal will not be denied. Look at the Fireball as well. I mean, you cannot overcome that. It's like 15 elixir on the board. It's like, well, okay, I guess I just die. Not fun. Not ideal. But hey, Hazeal looked pretty darn solid.
To say the least. To say the least. And look, we've got a lot of great Clash Royale content going on, which means we need an expert to help break it down exactly what happened and maybe even highlight some of these fantastic decks. A new name joining us here on the program, the one and only Sir Tag, is here to help break down some of the top decks of this last week and how you can use them to get some wins on ladder. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? We are back again to break down 2 top-tier decks that you need to learn inside of Clash Royale right now. These decks might have been a little bit underrated in the last meta, but you should check them out because they've been strong for a while and they're not going anywhere. As always, make sure to leave a fat thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed this new type of content, and let me know down below in the comment section what type of decks you want to see featured next. Without further ado, let's get right into the action. There is so much Golem Clone and Electro Giants everywhere in the meta, and you know what counters that? Big Mama P.E.K.K.A, sitting pretty at a 54% win rate, over 200,000 games played, so you guys already know that this deck means business. You should be checking out P.E.K.K.A because it's been strong for over 4 years, and that's not stopping anytime soon. If you don't have the Magic Archer, you can run minions, or if you don't like Battle Ram, you can also run Ram Rider. And if you don't like Royal Ghost, you could take Dark Prince too. I could go on and on. There are so many substitutions for this deck, one thing will remain the same: P.E.K.K.A will always stay strong. Royal Ghost is one of the most underrated cards in Clash Royale. As you guys can see, it snipes the Musketeer and Miner, and then it baits out a Royal delivery. That's effectively 10 elixir for 3, a juicy positive elixir trade. It's definitely one of the sneakiest and can be one of the most valuable cards in the game. Even at 0 HP, your opponent's gonna have to deal with it because the invisibility tactic will still give you the ability to do damage on your opponent's towers. One thing that I really appreciate in this game is knocking the Musketeer the other side with the Fireball, so you're able to get so much value, forcing out even extra elixir against the bridge spam. Another tip for P.E.K.K.A decks is if you are ever playing against a control deck with a lot of buildings, you're not going to be able to break through unless you slow roll a P.E.K.K.A in the back. As you guys can see against this Mortar player, our professional P.E.K.K.A player is going to slow roll a P.E.K.K.A in the back, build up a big push, and then eventually find damage with the battle ram. Make sure to drop your P.E.K.K.As in the back only when you're up elixir, otherwise you can get punished for it. But as the game goes on longer and you're able to build up even bigger P.E.K.K.A pushes, it becomes way scarier for your opponent. Whether you're running battle ram or rare miter, you're able to use it to kite your opponent's units to the other side or even bait out mortar shots. So the mortar's locking onto that instead of the tower, and then the battle ram forces out so much extra elixir from your opponent that really doesn't want to be doing that. Not only are you baiting out elixir with the battle ram, but you're giving yourself perfect magic archer opportunity. That magic archer is going to lock onto whatever your opponent tries to defend with, and it's going to secure some juicy damage. As you guys can see, there are so many opportunities of getting damage with P.E.K.K.A bridge spam, and that's why it's been so strong for so long. But my personal favorite way of finishing off games is that bandit leapfrogging onto your opponent's tower and securing the fatal blow. From my experience, it's always the most clutch card to finish off games. And the second deck that we're going to be taking a look at today is this Mortar Fast Cycle deck. It is incredibly annoying to play against. No one likes this thing unless you're playing it, and it's a lot of fun there. As you guys can see, there's a bandit and an Electro Wizard trying to finish off the Mortar, and it always gets that last hit. I'm sure you guys can empathize with the opponent there with the P.E.K.K.A deck, because that Mortar getting that last hit there, it hurts. And the pain and suffering does not stop there. Because you've got Tornado in the deck, if your opponent has any card that you can activate King Tower with, it's gonna be free real estate. Look at this placement of the Electro Wizard Tornado. You're able to activate King Tower with that every single time. And when you do activate King Tower, it's gonna be a free win against every graveyard game, and it's gonna be a lot easier against bridge spam, just like the deck that we're playing against right now. Of course, this deck is not gonna stop being obnoxious, so the Firecracker, it won't die ever. If you're able to keep that thing alive and it just keeps bouncing back away from the danger, your opponent's gonna be in a dangerous situation where they're gonna want to throw their phone, because if the Firecracker stays alive, it's permanent value. So basically what I'm trying to say, with the Firecracker, Tornado, and the Mortar all together in one deck, this deck is designed for your opponent to rage quit. And I gotta be honest with you guys, if you can't find a way through with your Mortar and all else fails, don't worry, you just Earthquake Cycle the entire tower down. It's almost impossible to break through a Mortar, Tornado, and Firecracker defense when King Tower is already activated. Earthquake is only a 3 elixir spell, so in double elixir, it's not punished easily. Mortar is one of the most underrated decks in Clash Royale for a reason. Every single one of the cards is super versatile, and it's not played against very often, so people don't know how to play versus it. And of course, you can rely on it to find damage in the most unlikely situations. And if you guys want to check out either of these decks, the links will be down below in the description of the video and in the pinned comment to copy both of them. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a fat thumbs up, subscribe for more content just like this, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Such good insight there from Sir Tag. I think one of my favorite things is how he breaks down the decisions, the plays so clearly for everybody. I mean, that's just phenomenal as far as helping people learn Clash Royale if you're new here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, if you're watching this and you aren't subscribed to like any of our creators, if you're interested in any of these games, you need to go subscribe to them. Great way to improve your gameplay and learn exactly how you can take that next step and really level up your performance in those respective games. But of course, we're not done yet. PUBG Mobile still up just around the corner. If you want to get involved in any of these games, if you want to apply the lessons that you're learning in these videos, ! Sign up right down below. Our next ladder is right around the corner. So make sure either you're ready to go, your squad's ready to go, the team, the fam, everyone is together, because we have some more competition in store for you right after this break, in fact, with PUBG Mobile. Back in a few.
I go ready for it.
back to the ESL Mobile Open. I'm Glitter Explosion.
And I'm in Verum.
It's time for our last game of the day. We got to check in with PUBG Mobile and see how everybody did this past week in Verum, because once again, there's little upsets here.
Yeah, I mean, is it an upset? Is it the result you maybe look for? Nova Esports, probably one of the winningest teams we have competing in our competition, up there in that #1 spot. They have competed on the world stage, so I can't say I'm surprised to see them here in our top 8 in the #1 spot. But for a lot of these up-and-coming squads, they are right there with them, Glitter. It's impressive. Tehran has been on an absolute tear consistently in the top 3 over the last few weeks. That is so impressive.
100%. We've talked about them week after week because they've been such a dominating team. And you can even see the lead that Nova has over Tarn is not even that big. And then the drop off from second to third is actually pretty sizable. And then even more so going down the list from there. So you can tell that everyone at the top of this leaderboard absolutely deserves to be where they are. And then seeing some other names that we've talked about over the past few weeks. We've got Druidas up there in 5th, Immortal and A up there in 8th. And then as we look here on to our second page of our leaderboard, we're going to see some more names that we do recognize in Knights, Vitality, but once again, new teams making their way up here on this ladder.
Absolutely. Again, a lot of names that if they're competing in this, we expect them to be, doing pretty well, making the top 16, but some up and coming squad, even still new names in week #3. That is so exciting to me. Nobody's safe. Nobody can rest on their laurels. Nobody can get comfortable because there is somebody coming for you right around the corner if you are not careful, especially as we take a look back at the highlights. So many of these top teams putting up impressive plays, but they're not alone, Glitter. They are in pretty good companies. We start things off with Nova Esports, HZL. Look at the smoke cover instantly laid down for this team because they're on the edge of the circle, Glitter. This is a push they have to make, and they do it in style.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really, really smart play there to kind of block off that divot just in case, because he was on his own. The rest of his team was a little bit farther off to the side. So it kept him safe and then enables him to rotate to a little bit of the higher ground there you saw towards the end. But now checking in with the rest of the team as we move farther through this game, Nova being our leader for day 1 here of the week in our games. And you can just see the positions, the angles that Nova is getting on all of these squads. It is just such clean PUBG Mobile gameplay. You can tell that there is a lot of experience under their belt.
Oh, for sure. And another team with a lot of experience, of course, it's Knights. Slight little roster change here, but the core of this team is still looking as scary as ever, as they are just ripping through team after team. Already 9 kills at that point in the game. Alucard, oh, just so clean. That DP spray. Not even questioning it. And we're seeing the Car 98 coming out here as well, Glitter, and doing work with it.
Listen, if you have it, you've got to use it. And you can see that Russell is just going to continue helping lay down damage. You see Retals? I don't know. That's the new name we're talking about for this roster. Putting in so much work for Knights. So fantastic pickup for them so far, at least. Seems like they're working well as a unit. And now we're in a final 2 situation as far as 2 teams go, but we know that there's a solo, so we gotta go for the 360. Doesn't land it, but goes for the style points anyways, because at this point they know they have the win in the bag.
I respect it. At that point, you got to put in the work. Another team that's been doing that, of course, is Chivas Esports. They're going up against some pretty tough competition here on Pachinki, looking to set themselves up well, but already 1 player down, 1 in the grave. They are looking in a bit of a rough spot here, trying to go for the revives, laying down the smoke, the cover, to give themselves a bit of a position to get back into this game. But they're fighting up against HQA, Glitter, helping Quit Addiction, one of these other extremely veteran squads who are, in fact, able to take them down. And now Luis is looking to do the work. Nade comes in, but of course, now they know exactly where that nade is on the other side and able to do so much work with it. All 4 players alive. Glitter, this is their game to win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've got the height advantage. They knew where they were trying to snake in that grass. And at that point, HQA just had to be smart and not make any bad choices. Easy cleanup for that chicken dinner. And love the fact that we literally just watched so many recognizable PUBG Mobile names in all of those highlights participating here in our Mobile Open.
These are names that if you tune into the PMPL, maybe even the PMWL, you recognize literally competing on the world stage representing North America. And if you're an up-and-coming player who wants to get better at PUBG Mobile, if you want to take that next step in the PMPO, into the PMPO, what better place to get that experience than right here? In order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And in order to play against them, you need a field of competition. And that's what the Mobile Open is all about. Exclamation point, sign up in the chat. If you want to get involved in our next ladder, if you want to play up against some of these top teams, and of course, win a little prize money along the way, I highly recommend you get your squad together and go check that out. And of course, exclamation point social as well, if you want to stay up to date with all the cool things we're doing here in our program, because there were certainly a lot of cool things going over tonight. Glitter, did you have a favorite moment looking back in the day?
Well, honestly, I think for me, for this week, it has to go to Asphalt 9. The nuanced diversity, if you will, that we saw this week out of our racers was just phenomenal, to say the least.
Absolutely. It's definitely a close one. I think Brawl Stars as well. I think back to that double kill with the Rico ult from Czar. Those little moments like that. Things that wouldn't even, my brain wouldn't even compute to try and do that. And these players pull it off against other top teams and make it look easy. Fantastic play here across the board. Another week in the books, which means it's time for us to say goodnight here for the ESL Mobile Open recap for week number 3. We've got a lot of action in store for you this weekend and beyond. It is the play-ins, the ladder finals. They're all starting to happen, so make sure you're following us here on the channel, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching right now, so you don't miss any of the action. For myself, Glitter Explosion, the rest of the crew, thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the prize is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator, listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone, 'cause I'm just like you. There's no failing when we fight. We're not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the prize is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator, listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone, 'cause I'm just like you. There's no failing when we fight. We're not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. Feel the light, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the price is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator, listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up?